of Sharon and the plain of Philistia, the latter widening out in the the second geographic region, next to the maritime plains, contained the principal mountain ranges, which ran on like a backbone of the country. In the end were the mountains of Naphtali, also called the Hills of Galilee. They were an extension of the Lebanon ranges, which were noted for their cedar forests, and their prominent Mount Hermon, which towered skyward 2,814 meters, 9,232 feet. The northern mountains of Palestine ranged in altitude from 1,208 meters, 3,963 feet at Hamaron in Upper Galilee to 562 meters, 1,844 feet for Mount Tabor, made famous in the days of Barak. JG 4. 12 below Mount Tabor was a comparatively broad central plain that cut transversely across the country from W to E, separating the northern mountains from those to the the Jezreel Valley, or Esdraelon, was where many decisive battles were fought. It consisted of two parts, the eastern lower plain of Jezreel, and the western section, the valley plain of Megiddo. Jos 17. 16. 2ch 35. 22. To the W and N of the Megiddo Valley, which was drained by the Kishon, was the Carmel Range running southeasterly from the coast and joining the mountains of Ephraim, or Samaria, in which the historic peaks of Gerizim Dubal were located, the latter being over 900 meters, 3,000 feet high. 11. 29 Continuing S, this range was known as the mountainous region of Judah, for though elevations varied from 600 meters, 2,000 feet to over 1,000 meters, 3,300 feet, the area consisted largely of plateaus, rounded hills, and gentle slopes. 2ch 27. 4. 1. 39 Here in this region were such cities as Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Hebron. Gradually the Judean mountains on the east merged into the Negeb, a name thought to be from a root meaning be parched, a region that cross-section of Palestine's sea-level Great Sea coastal plain Shephelah Mts. Of Judah Mts. Of Samaria Lebanon Mts. Jordan Valley Tabliel and Mount Hermon sea level of Salt Sea, Palestine 570 extended to the Torrent Valley of Egypt and constituted the southern portion of Palestine. On the northern edge of the Negeb was the oasis-like city of Beersheba. At the southern extremity, Kadesh Barnea. GE 12. 9. 20. 1. 22. 19. When approaching the mountains of Judah from the W, one comes to the hill section known as the Shephelah, with its several small WE valleys leading from the coastal plains to the highlands. Jos 9. 1 For the most part these hills were suitable for the grazing of flocks and cattle, the springs in the valleys furnishing the necessary water. The third feature of Palestine's geography was called the Arabid 11. 30, part of the Great Rift Valley. It divides the country longitudinally from top to bottom. This deep cleft began in Syria to the N and extended southward all the way to the Red Sea's Gulf of Aqaba. What made this central depression of the land all the more spectacular were the parallel mountain ranges and cliffs on either side of it. When tracing this trench-like depression from N to S, one quickly drops from the foothills of Mount Hermon to the Hula Basin, where the headwaters of the Jordan once formed a small lake. From there the Jordan, in some 16 kilometers 10 mi, rapidly drops over 270 meters, 890 feet to the Sea of Galilee, which is about 210 meters, 700 feet below sea level. From Galilee to the Dead Sea, this great rift in the earth's crust is the Jordan Valley proper, and by the Arabs is called the gorge, meaning depression. It is a gorge as much as 19 kilometers 12 mi wide in places. The Jordan itself is about 45 meters, 150 feet below the floor of this valley. And as it slowly snakes its way down to the Dead Sea, it continues to drop about 180 meters, 600 feet more. Picture, Volume 1, p. 334. This makes the surface of the Dead Sea about 400 meters, 1,300 feet below the level of the Mediterranean. The lowest point on the Earth's surface. The extension of the Rift Valley south of the Dead Sea for another 160 kilometers 100 mi to the Gulf of Aqaba was more commonly known as the Araba proper. The 2.8 midway it reached its highest point, about 200 meters, 650 feet above sea level. The fourth geographic region of Palestine consisted of hills and Tabliel and Z of the Great Jordanian Rift. The 2. 36, 37. 3. 8-10 in the end this arable land extended of the Sea of Galilee perhaps 100 kilometers 60 mi, while in the S the width was only about 40 kilometers 25 mi before it became a wilderness, arid steppes that eventually lost themselves in the Arabian desert. The wider, northern section of this rolling eastern region, above Ramoth Gilead, was called the land of Bashan, about 600 meters, 2,000 feet in average altitude. S of Bashan the dome-like region of Gilead attained an elevation of 1,000 meters, 3,300 feet. On its S, Gilead bordered the Tablil and end of the torrent valley of Arnon, in which area was situated Mount Nebo, over 800 meters, 2,630 feet high. This territory, at one time the possession of the Ammonites, was, in turn, bounded S of the torrent valley of Arnon by the land of Moab. Jos 13. 24, 25. JG 11.